Welcome back to another episode of Time Out with the Sports Doctor podcast, where life, sports, and medicine intersects. We are glad that you are part of this growing community where we strive to help you strengthen your mindset, help you grow your assets, and help you achieve whatever level of success that you want for your life. Go to our website at Dr.Derrick, thesportsdoctor.com, where you can find all the latest content, and you can also follow us on our social media channels. Now, let's get into this episode. So welcome back to another episode. I hope your week is off to a good start. I want to talk to you today about something that's near and dear to me, something that's not new, definitely not a new topic on this podcast. It's about success and achieving your dreams. And I feel like this is relevant in this season because it's graduation time. You know, a lot of people are completing goals and starting to embark on new endeavors. It doesn't matter if you are my daughter graduating from 5th grade or you're a physician finishing up medical school or finishing up your training. I think this applies to all. Many times we set goals or have dreams that we're working towards, so even bigger than goals, I say, are your dreams. But when you achieve those dreams, what's next? And that's what I want to talk about. So what happens when your dreams become reality? I think first, I want to congratulate everyone on achieving whatever milestone that you have achieved on, even if you've finally attained that dream that you've been chasing for a long time. But I want you to take a moment, because I think many times in life, we don't take the time to appreciate what we've accomplished or what we achieved. And I think that's very important. I know that I'm guilty of that sometimes, that I will just keep my head down and keep churning and not really give myself credit for the distance that I've traveled, or the goals that I've achieved along the way. When Noah Harris was on the podcast, very brilliant young man on his way to law school, Harvard Law School, first president of Harvard undergraduate. Go back and listen to his episode. But one thing that he said that really stuck with me, he said that the destination is the journey, because many times we're so focused on what's next, where we're going, that we fail to appreciate just the day-to-day process of becoming better, or the day-to-day, the work that we have to put in, the blood, sweat, and tears, the early mornings, the late nights, the hard work, the studying. We fail to appreciate that. And really, the process, the journey, is what's making you into the better individual that you want to be. I think it's not necessarily achieving that goal or making it to that destination. So the destination is the journey. So like I mentioned, let's take time to appreciate what you've achieved. But I want to talk to you about, what do you do with what you achieve once you have it? Whether it's that dream job, whether it's making the team, getting drafted, completing medical school. Now that you've done that, now what? I think many times in life, we put so much emphasis on achieving it or winning that goal or whatever it may be, that we fail to really think past that. I remember starting out in my career, the main thing was completing training and being done. And then once I was done and had this dream job, I saw it kind of crumble in front of me, which made me appreciate not only having the job, but all the things that go into it to making me who I am. So what I want to talk about is, how do you nurture that gift, or how do you nurture that blessing that you've been given? So I want to use another example. I like using my children as examples. So last year, my daughter was very excited when she made the junior high basketball team, a goal that she had for herself. But when she achieved that goal, the first month of practice was not about basketball. First month of practice was boot camp. It was all conditioning. So they're going to be good and bad, right? And we have to take it all together. So people that are graduating, going into residency, or finishing your residency, going into your new job, I want you to realize that there's going to be the good that you dreamed of, but there's also another side of it, which might not be as glorious. It might not be something that you can post on social media. The late nights, the early mornings, the mistakes that you're going to make, not necessarily getting along with maybe some of your classmates or some of your co-residents or some of your colleagues at work. That all comes along with it. How are you going to let that affect who you are as a person? So you're going to have to put in the grunt work. You're going to have to do some of the things that nobody else wants to do to get to that next place, that next step, be able to go to the next level. And I feel that many times that's overlooked because there's definitely hustle that has to be done to help you get to that next level, to help you become that doctor that you want to be, to help you become the business person or the entrepreneur that you want to be. Many times we complain about the mundane things that we have to do in our day-to-day lives or in our careers to help us become the GOAT that many people want to claim to be. I was on a call the other day and someone said, I'm starting to get in my feelings because I'm not getting the results that I want. But at the same time, in the next breath said, I know I'm not doing the things that I need to do to get those results. So if we know that there are steps that we have to go through to achieve what we want, or to become that person or that physician or that parent or that husband or wife that we want, if we know those steps are there and we don't undergo them, then can we be upset when we don't have the results or the outcomes that we want? And I'm not fussing at you, I'm talking to myself as well. So this goes back to the atomic habits of goals versus systems. So in Atomic Habits, he said, if you ignore your goals but focus on your systems, are you likely to still achieve those goals? Versus if you focus strictly on your goals and ignore the systems or ignore those steps that are required to take you to that next level, will you still achieve your goals? So I feel that focusing on those day-to-day steps or those putting systems in place to make you successful is even more important than writing down a list of dreams or writing down a list of goals. As healthcare providers, we spend a large portion of our lives focused on our training as well as taking care of other individuals. But I'm calling a timeout because life can change in an instant. We know it's difficult to fathom that a sudden illness, injury, or death could put you and your family in a devastating financial situation. But that's where Dr. Stephanie Pearson and her unique team of advisors at Pearson Ravitz come into play. They focus on empowering physicians like yourself to protect your most valuable asset, your income, and life's most important people, your family. So go to pearsonravitz.com to make sure that you are protected today. And then the other thing is when you achieve that goal, one of my goals was becoming a team physician for a major Division I college. Not necessarily the ultimate goal or dream, but that was a goal or dream. So once I achieved that, then what? Do I just say, hey, I'm here? Or how do you go about doing your day-to-day work to show truthfully your appreciation for being here? Once you have that job, are you going to work on that job day to day and put in the effort, even without somebody giving you a clap on the back or applauding you or giving you a raise? Are you still going to work once you have that goal or dream? Are you going to cherish it the way that you did when you were searching for it or when you were in pursuit of it? So that's something that I feel is very important. One example I was thinking about was being able to, I had dreams of being on the sidelines. But now that I have this job, truthfully, I could make excuses for not being there. I could say, okay, I have a resident or I have a fellow who can go to the game, or I could skip out on going to some of the smaller events, going to high school games even, because now I have this bigger goal. However, I have to remember that what got me here was standing on the sidelines, getting out in the community, shaking hands, making relationships. So unless I'm at my ultimate position, I need to still continue to do those same things so I can continue to grow, continue to improve my skills, continue to make those meaningful connections with other people. So don't be complacent, I think, is the underlying tone of this message. Don't be complacent. Be proud of yourself, but don't be complacent. Because when you become complacent and when you become comfortable, that's when growth can be halted. So I was sitting on a panel recently with high school and college students. And one student stood up and said, what would you tell your younger self? And I was the last person on the panel, so I had plenty of time to think about it. And as I heard other people present and tell stories about what they would tell themselves, I continued to think of other things that I would tell myself. But the main thing is you are enough. No matter where you're coming from, small town, inner city, poverty, whatever it may be, small school, Ivy League school, you are enough. You already have everything that you need to obtain whatever goal you have in place. What you're responsible for is now doing the hard work or doing those steps that nobody else really wants to pay attention to get you to where you want to go. But you are enough. And I want you to know that, because many times early in my career, I felt like maybe I don't belong here, or I felt like, maybe I didn't have all the qualifications that other people had. And that affected the way that I perceive myself in these spaces and places. So I would tell myself, number one, you are enough. I would also tell myself to make sure that I'm taking full advantage of all of the opportunities that are around me. Many times I was being an introvert, I did not want to approach other people to ask for help. I didn't want to approach other people to introduce myself, or even when I saw an opportunity that I knew that would fit well with me, I didn't want to go out of my comfort zone to approach that person, or because maybe fear of rejection. But I would tell my younger self to make sure that you are present, make sure that people know who you are, and make sure that you're not afraid to ask for what you want, especially when you're negotiating. Ask for what you want, because you are bringing value, being who you are, being your unique self. You're bringing value to whatever organization that you are joining or whatever organization you're a part of. So I would tell my younger self those two things. So I'm going to pose that question to you. What message do you need to tell yourself? What message do you need to start believing? What message do you need to start walking out in your daily life? So once again, congratulations on achieving your goals, achieving your dreams. But when you have those dreams in hand, what are you going to do with them? Are you going to take them for granted? Are you going to put them on a shelf and just look at them like a trophy? Or are you going to continue to work to get better, work to achieve that next level? Or are you just going to be complacent and be happy that you achieved what you have currently? So hopefully this will resonate with someone. Give me feedback. I'm interested to know what you think about this topic. So what do you do when you reach your dreams? Be blessed. Stay safe. Thank you for continuing to support this podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, then please leave a 5-star review. And if you haven't done so, subscribe so you continue to get the updated episodes. Until later, peace. Time out with the sports doctor. Keep our head right in the game. We ain't never stopping. You are now tuned in. Trust you don't want to miss. This is where life, sports, and medicine